Good day, everyone. Welcome to Real Conservative Headline News. I'm your host, Nathaniel Rajkumar. Starting off locally here in Trinidad and Tobago, the government of Trinidad and Tobago has secured a 3-month extension to its branding agreement with Hilton Worldwide for the iconic Hilton Trinidad and Conference Center, postponing potential closure of or rebranding until July 2026. I wonder if Hilton International would have given Rowley and them a longer period of time. I'm just wondering. This extension, prompted by disputes over required capital expenditure for infrastructure upgrades, provides a final window for negotiations regarding the future management and investment of the state-owned property. I hope they end up coming to an agreement, because that is part of our history. As my mom said, that she knew that since she was a child she knew about that hotel since as a child back in the 60s. So I would love for them to come to an agreement. I'm just still wondering, I wonder if they would have taken this type of action now when they know the economy is in total shambles because of the PNM. I wonder if they would have taken this type of action now if the PNM was still in office. Anyone outside there can give me an answer to that? Deputy Political Leader of the United National Congress and Minister of Works and Infrastructure, Hilton John, one of the hardest working members of the UNC administration and the Kamala Prasad administration, delivered a report on the extent of the work done by her ministry over the past 12 months. The minister was speaking at the United National Congress 37th anniversary and the first year in office. Deputy Political Leader of the party, Minister of Works and Infrastructure, Hilton John, said in the past year, several projects were launched and delivered. PNM Patriots want you all to launch everything at one time and fix all the mess that was made by their precious Ghanaian party for the past 9.5 years within 1 year. That's fair, people? Of course it's not. Infrastructure projects were also prioritized. Another initiative highlighted by the minister was the success of the National Recruitment Drive. That's the new maintenance program, people, that replace CPEP and URP. What I believe, though, is that they need to expand that in a much shorter space of time. Not just to provide employment for former CPEP and URP workers, but a whole lot of areas in Trinidad and Tobago, including mine here in Gilk Street and Lindsay Street, that need to be attended to in a much more often than was done in the past. A matter of fact, when CPEP was operating for the past 2 to nearly 3 years, my area was totally abandoned. Gilk Street continued to be attended to and was cleaned every probably month or so, but Lindsay Street was totally abandoned by the CPEP for probably about 2 to 3 years. So we all know there was a lot of nonsense and corruption and bias and spite that was taking place under the PNM with the CPEP and URP programs. But we are no longer under the PNM, so we want proper service. So Prime Minister Kamala Prasad says, and Hilton John, and the Minister of Local Government, I believe, which is Khadija Amin, you all need to expand this program to provide proper service to all of us here in Trinidad and Tobago. Well, Trinidad, because Tobago have their own CPEP and whatsoever, so maintenance in Tobago. We need a better service here in Trinidad, and also will provide much needed jobs for those former CPEP and URP workers. Getting back to the report now, Minister John pledged on behalf of her colleagues to remain hands-on in delivering results for citizens of this nation. Once again, as I said before, she's one of the hardest working members of the Kamala Prasad predecessor UNC administration.
So to date, in the ministry since I've been there, we have completed over 2,055 patches. You want to know what the hell the PNM was doing all the time? Mashing up your car. We have deployed 953 tons of hot mixer asphalt. And then we are working very closely with the Water and Sewage Authority in areas including Tumpuna Road, SSC Road. We're patching because them road getting you seasick. We are repairing, all right, in the short term. Because the people of this country should not have to endure bad roads because government agencies cannot coordinate.
Infrastructure projects were also prioritized.
So within just 1 year, we have completed over 83 road infrastructure projects spanning roadway maintenance, slope stabilization, completed works including the SS Erin Road, Bridge, Sambuco Extension Road. Man, just look around. The Ministry of Works and Infrastructure is on every street corner.
Another initiative highlighted by the minister was the success of the National Recruitment Drive.
Some of you here, I'm sure, have been recruited by the National Recruitment Drive. We have about 1,600 workers, and they work very, very hard. I'm very proud of the people involved in it. You well hard? You work hard. That is true. All right, so I thank you so much. We have no ghost workers on our payroll. These are men and women operating at over 40 active sites across this country, delivering real results in real communities.
Minister John pledged on behalf of her colleagues to remain hands-on in delivering results for citizens.
Weather report for Monday, April 27, 2026. General conditions. Trinidad and Tobago can expect a mostly sunny and hazy day, though interrupted by occasional partly cloudy spells and isolated showers. Conditions are expected to be breezy, particularly during the daylight hours, with a fair but hazy night. Temperature. The high will range from 29 degrees Celsius to 32 degrees Celsius, with an overnight low of 23 degrees Celsius to 25 degrees Celsius. Saharan dust. A moderate concentration of Saharan dust is present in the atmosphere. Persons sensitive to air quality changes should take necessary precautions. Sea conditions. Moderate in open waters with waves reaching 1.5 meters to 2.0 meters. Heat index. The feels-like temperature is expected to reach approximately 35 degrees Celsius.
Regional news now. President Dr. Irfan Ali, probably the best leader in the entire region at this point in time, has underscored the far-reaching impact of investment on Guyana's economy, highlighting that the benefits extend well beyond individual projects to support jobs, businesses, and public services across the country. The head of state made this known while speaking at the recently opened 4 Points by Sheraton Hotel, during which he used the project as an example of how investment injects value at multiple levels of the economy, from construction to long-term operations. Investment is not a slogan, he said. Investment changes lives and makes a real difference in the lives of people. Against this backdrop, he explained that even before operations began at the hotel, the construction phase generated employment for a wide cross-section of local workers. Once again, that's 100% true, including engineers, carpenters, electricians, and truck drivers, among others. These wages, he noted, translated directly into spending across the economy. Yes, people, you're giving the citizens purchasing power. And when you give the middle class and the working class, of course, purchasing power, they spend it back into the economy. But mainly the middle class, because we've heard that for many years now. The middle class is the bridge between the rich and the poor. So when you empower the middle class, when you give them better salaries and employment and so forth, what they do is transfer the wealth from the rich to the poor. The ruling Jamaica Labour Party's Area Council 3 has endorsed the proposed National Reconstruction and Resilience Authority bill, boosting political support amid concerns about its governance structure and concentration of executive authority. People are wondering if it's going to have proper transparency and accountability taking place, or too much government control. The unanimous passage of the resolution by Area Council 3 adds to the growing support for the bill and signals clear confidence in its purpose and necessity, said a statement on the resolution that was passed at a meeting held at the Osborne Primary School in Clarendon on Sunday. Area Council 3 is the JLP's internal body that covers St. Anne, Manchester, and Clarendon. The JLP said the move followed a presentation from Minister with Responsibility for Works Robert Morgan. He reportedly argued that the legislation would strengthen Jamaica's ability to coordinate reconstruction, improve resilience, and accelerate the delivery of critical national projects, particularly in the wake of major disasters such as Hurricane Melissa. Now, as long as the citizens, as long as the Jamaicans can benefit from this new policy or law, then of course I will support it as well. And we should all support it, not just me. I'm just a person giving my own point of view on social media. But I mean in general, their population and the rest of us in the Caribbean here should support it as well. Following a historic third consecutive landslide victory, Prime Minister Mia Mottley is steering the Barbados Labour Party toward national recommitment to ensure sustained growth and prevent complacency after nearly a decade of rule. Because people start to get comfortable in government when they win a third consecutive election. So she's telling them, no. Realize that you're here to serve the people and don't start to take them for granted. During the party's 88th anniversary service, wow, you all have been around for long. Well, not be a Mottley, but you're the party. During the party's 88th anniversary service, Mottley emphasized that nation building requires grassroots mobilization and political education beyond the cabinet, bridging the gap between electoral success and long-term societal goals. Mia Mottley, as I keep saying over again, even on my other channel, she really does sound like a globalist and a leftist. But surprisingly, even though she's probably a leftist, at least she leans on the radical leftist side of governance. She's doing quite well as a prime minister in Barbados, and that's what I care about most of all. I'll probably never agree with certain types of policies that are leftist in nature, but her performance appears to be she's doing quite well in Barbados. Correct me if I'm wrong, those from Barbados, if you are watching from Barbados, comment on my YouTube channels and even on TikTok and so forth, and let me know what you think. The Water and Sewerage Corporation is investing over $1 million to upgrade water infrastructure in Acklins, Bahamas, aiming to improve reliability, expand access, and replace reliance on private wells. These upgrades are designed to enhance climate resilience against frequent hurricanes and droughts to ensure a consistent, safe public water supply. And this is wonderful news. The question is, once again, is this happening because it's election season? They actually are in election season right now in Bahamas. Or is or does the present government usually perform this way all the time? Once again, anyone is outside there from the Bahamas viewing my videos, comment and let me know what you think. International news now. President Trump has expressed strong support for a viral proposal to rebrand U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, as NICE. National Immigration and Customs Enforcement, making it sound a little more friendly. The proposal, enthusiastically endorsed by the administration, aims to shift public perception and challenge media narratives as the agency undergoes a significant $75 billion expansion. This have a great purpose, people, getting dangerous criminals, especially illegal aliens that are involved in crime, organized crime, serious, extremely dangerous gangs off the streets and even out of the country, protecting the borders to an extent as well. So they serve a very important purpose, but definitely there were some very controversial issues that took place recently. A person lost their life. There were cases of excessive force. But thankfully, the Trump administration seems to be addressing that issue as well. Supporters view the potential name change as a savvy rebranding, while critics consider it a tactic to reframe the agency's image during intensified enforcement operations. Yeah, but those are isolated situations thus far. Most of the times you're seeing that they're conducting themselves in a professional manner.
Bible quote of the day. Exodus chapter 32, verses 11 to 14. Moses pleaded with God to spare the Israelites, questioning why God's anger should burn against the people he rescued from Egypt with great power. He urged God to turn from his fierce anger to prevent the Egyptians from claiming the people were brought out only to be killed. Moses asked God to remember his oath to Abraham, Isaac, and Israel to make their descendants as numerous as the stars and to give them the land as an eternal inheritance. Following this plea, the Lord relented and did not bring the threatened disaster upon the people.
Folks, that brings us to the end of today's headline news. Thanks again to everyone who continues to support my content. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay blessed and stay safe most of all. In Jesus' name.